YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back with some more NFL position rankings. We're on the O-line units. So I'm ranking all 32 teams. We're going to start from 32, go to 1 by their offensive line units for the upcoming season. So last year's performance factors into it a little bit, but it's kind of predicting this upcoming season. And then at the end, I'll show you who you guys voted for as the best offensive line unit. That was kind of a while ago on our Twitter as a poll. So you guys did vote, and there was a winner. It was pretty close, but we'll see at the end. Before we get into the bottom of the rankings, subscriber goal is 10K subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so to help us out. They're much appreciated. But on to the bottom 8. I'll show you the bottom 8 here. And I think the bottom 3 pretty much are really separate themselves. What I'm trying to say here, they're clearly the bottom 3. I think the Texans. I mean, there's a good thing and there's a bad thing here. I mean, the good thing is the young guys are going to get some experience. Maybe it's going to help them for the future. Guys like Julian Davenport, Martinez Rankin, but there's a lot of guys that were drafted ahead of Martinez Rankin this past draft because they were better, and those guys are probably going to sit him starting right away. I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing, but it's good for his future, good for developing, but it's not good for right now. It's not good for Deshaun Watson, which is very scary. Good thing he's very athletic and mobile, but you need a better offensive line. And then a similarity there, the Seahawks. You got a mobile quarterback, but you're just making it harder on him. So some young guys there, and they do have Dwayne Brown, who's pretty solid. But, yeah, I think guys are really going to step up. I mean, and the Jets right there with the Seahawks, really no splitting them up. Beacham's their better part of their offensive line. And then, yeah, the rest of it needs improvement. But looks like they're building up their defense first. Offense needs a little work. They did get their future quarterback in Darnold. But, yeah, I really think those 3 are the bottom 3, clearly. Then the Panthers coming at 29. I'm not a fan of the Panthers' offensive line as a unit, and I'll tell you why. The right side of the line looks fantastic. Not fantastic. It looks pretty good. Trey Turner, Darrell Williams, they're pretty good. Better than the 29 next to their name. But then the left side, the more important side, pretty poor, honestly. Matt Khalil, you never know what you're going to get from Matt Khalil. Was once an All-Pro, believe it or not, rookie season. Has not been too impressive since. Had his moments last year. You just don't know what you're going to get from him. Ryan Khalil getting up there in age. How much longer does he have to go? I think he's got one more season. He's supposed to be set to retire, so we'll see there. But they come in at 29. The Bills coming in at 28. Pretty good last season for what they got, but they traded Cordy Glenn, maybe one of their better offensive linemen. Deion Dawkins is very young, impressive guy, but you don't really know what you're going to get. Vladimir Dukas, pretty impressive last year, but that's another guy that he's not really going to stay consistent. You're not guaranteed good play. So a bunch of guys. Jordan Mills was pretty good on the Bears, then all of a sudden wasn't good anymore. Then he goes on the Bills, and I don't know. Too many inconsistent guys. You just don't know what you're going to get each year. But last year they were way better than 28. Did, like I said, dropped Cordy Glenn or traded Cordy Glenn. So it's a team you really don't know what you're going to get from. And then the team that they traded Cordy Glenn to, the Bengals, who were probably lower than this based off last year, but getting Cordy Glenn, getting Billy Price. Hopefully he's healthy. I think he will be. Clint Bowling, I like him. So they're moving up a little bit. They're getting there. It should slowly start moving up. I mean, O-line's a position that really all it takes is really 1 year, one off season to really move it up big time. So I think one more off season, the Bengals offensive line could be back to where it was. It was actually one of the better ones in the league just a few years ago. They unfortunately lost a lot of guys in free agency. So they're in the right direction. Even though they're 27, I like where they're headed. Good trade to get Cordy Glenn for them. 26, the Giants. Now, if it wasn't for Nate Solder, the Giants actually would be with the bottom 3 teams. Good pick up there. Good draft pick. Will Hernandez. Will he be ready to perform at a high level right away? You know, you don't really expect that. And then really the rest of the line is iffy. You know, like I said, if it wasn't for that Solder signing, this may be the worst offensive line in football in my opinion, or second to last maybe. But good pickup with Solder. Hopefully Hernandez, I know he'll be good, but hopefully it's early on for Eli's sake and Saquon's sake. But so the Solder signing pushes him up a little bit there. But very close to these other teams. And the Colts are 25th. They were probably the worst offensive line. Not probably. They were the worst offensive line in football last year. Jacoby Brissett got rushed all day, all game long. A mobile quarterback that got sacked a lot. So, but Quentin Nelson, I mean, really the addition of him brings him up from last to 25. I think the other guys with more experience being pretty young also helps them move up. Left side of the line is looking pretty good. Right side does need a little work maybe. But they're heading in the right direction as a team, really. It's basically all even young talent that could help pretty early on in their careers. So heading in the right direction, even though they're in the bottom 8 here. So we're on to the next 8, 24, then up to 17. Denver Broncos coming at 24. Another team that, part of that line is young. By that I mean maybe Garrett Bowles, draft pick from last year, so he could get better. Right side of the line, not a huge fan of the right side of the line, but played pretty well last year. Could get better. I like their center, Matt Paradis, and Garrett Bowles is going to be the left tackle. Ronald Larry pretty solid. So the left side of the line is pretty good, along with the center. But the right side of the line, a little iffy, but our team headed in the right direction. The Dolphins coming in at 23. They weren't so hot last year, but I kind of like looking at it on paper. It looks like a pretty good line, so I think they'll be better this year. Laramie Tunsil hasn't really lived up to the hype yet, but he can. Josh Sitton, obviously very good offensive lineman. Juwan James, I like Juwan James. I don't know if he gets enough credit. I think he played pretty well last year. I always thought he was somewhat underrated coming out of Tennessee, but we'll see how they play. They didn't play too well last year, but they get their quarterback back, so they're going to have to play better. I think they will. 22 is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Another team, you don't really know what you're going to get. You got guys that used to play at a very high level. Mike Iopati did not play well last year, should play better this year. Andre Smith's had his moments in the past where he's good, but then one year he's not good. So another team maybe on paper looks a lot better. DJ Humphries, I like him a lot. Justin Pugh, picking up him. Another guy, inconsistent. 1 year very good, 1 year not. So you don't know what you're going to get on paper. Looks pretty solid, so I put him at 22. 21 is the Minnesota Vikings, another team that you just don't know what you're going to get. 2 years ago, probably the worst offensive line in football. They made some changes, and last year they got way better. They were better than 21 last year. But again, you just don't know what you're going to get from them. They're going to have to protect their new quarterback, Kirk Cousins. But Riley Reif was very impressive last year. The rookie Pat Elflein was very impressive. So that's a plus for them. That looks good. But then you don't know what you're going to get from the rest of the guys. Mike Remmers played well last year, but moving around from tackle, guard to tackle. So you don't know what you're going to get. Where is he going to play? Rashad Hill, actually kind of a no-name guy, was actually pretty impressive. So we'll see if it's kind of hard to tell who's going to start for them. So I guess that's not. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. They got good depth, but again, you kind of want to. I'm sure they know who's going to start, so I guess that's overall a good thing. But last year they were better than 21. Year before that they were probably dead last. So kind of don't know what you're going to get there. So I kept them down at 21. The Niners will be 20. They bring in Mike McGlinchey. I like McGlinchey for the future. Good run blocking tackle. I think he'll help a lot I think they'll run a lot of slip screens to McKinnon. I think that'll be, it makes sense. It's the right type of scheme, I think, for McGlinchey. Got Weston Richburg. So pretty good. Joe Staley, obviously pretty solid. So Joshua Garnett, you like him to step up a little bit. So, I think it's a team. It's a good offensive line unit for the future. Really could be good right now too. I think really as soon as we get top 20, I think you consider the top 20 that you're pretty locked in that they're going to be solid offensive lines. So there's a lot of good offensive line these days. 19's the Chargers, pretty similar to the Vikings. 2 years ago, pretty terrible. Last year, heck of a season really for that unit. Pretty young, did have some injuries too, so maybe you could have some inconsistencies. Guys trying to learn still. So we'll see. I do like the way they drafted a year ago on the offensive line. So We'll see. We'll see how they do this year. So it's kind of a wait and see. So like I said, similar to the Vikings team, you don't know what you're going to get. But last year was very impressive. Buccaneers are going to be 18. Donovan Smith was a guy that I really liked coming out of Penn State and first few years in the league, really. But then wasn't a fan of him last year. Ali Marpet, pretty solid center. Pretty balanced offensive line. I was really high on Donovan Smith before, but I think he needs to step it up. So I have him at 18 for now. They could be possibly better than that. Ravens at 17. Another young guy that was very high on, Ronnie Stanley. I think he could step it up a little bit, but I'm pretty confident he will. So I think another pretty balanced offensive line for the most part. So they come in at number 17 there. They have Marshall Yanda too, so obviously probably could be considered one of the top guards in football. So, I mean, they got guys like Yanda and Stanley that can play at a high level, but then a hole maybe at left guard, right tackle. They can use some help, but they got two guys that could be. I mean, honestly, both of them could be Pro Bowlers. I'm not going to say they for sure will be, but I like what they got there. They're at 17. Now 16, then up to 9. Number 16 is going to be the Detroit Lions. I mean, a lot of these teams you really don't know what you're going to get. I keep saying it. 2 years ago, I didn't really like the Lions' offensive line. Didn't play too hot. Last year played pretty well. Taylor Decker's still young. They get Frank Ragnow. I like that draft pick. T.J. Lang, Ricky Wagner. On paper it looks pretty good. I think it'll be pretty solid. Like I said, the whole top 20 is pretty good. It just, you want to see more of it. You know, these offensive line units, they go, like I said, one year they're good, one year they're not. You want to see these guys stay consistent. I think the teams at the top are at the top because they're consistent. We know they're going to be good. We know for sure they're going to be a solid unit. But number 15 is the Jacksonville Jaguars, another team 2 years ago, not so hot. Last year played pretty darn well. And they get Andrew Norwell in there, so that keeps them top 15 here. Cam Robinson, the rookie that maybe struggled a little bit last year, you can expect him to step up. So pretty solid line, pretty balanced. Andrew Norwell is the better of the group. Good pick up there. The Raiders at 14, they probably played better than 14 last year. I have a little doubt. I did not like the Colton Miller pick. I think he's going to start. If he starts, he's going to struggle. Even though I think he could be good in the future, he's going to have some struggle. And then you got Donald Penn getting up there in age. Is it time for decline? Rodney Hudson. I don't know. Pretty balanced line, but you could see some struggle. Got a couple guys that can go on in decline. You got Colton Miller. You know he's gonna struggle right away. Like it doesn't mean he's not going to be good. He's going to be good with the time, with the developing. Playing time helps. But I think he's going to struggle early on. I did not like that draft pick. Thought it was too early, but doesn't mean he doesn't have a good future. Number 13 is the Cleveland Browns. Still pretty solid offensive line without Joe Thomas. Another pretty balanced offensive line. Bieltonio is pretty solid. Zietler's really balanced all the way around. Could use some help at tackle. I mean, I like Chris Hubbard on the right side. Coleman on the left. Could use an upgrade there. But really solid guards. Interior blocking's very, very solid. So Browns make number 13. The Chiefs at 12. Another very good run blocking team. Very good run blocking team. Very impressive. Wouldn't surprise me by the end of this upcoming year, that we can even consider them higher than this. Maybe one of the best, maybe the best offensive line in football. So a lot of room here. They can be around here. They can be up higher. Very good run blocking. Like to see them better pass blocking. But again, I like the Chiefs offensive line. Then the Rams are at 11. Another team that maybe played a little better than 11 last year. But they have some age. You know, they got Andrew Whitworth. Saffold's been in the league for a while now. John Sullivan has been in the league for a while. Are these guys going to continue to play? They can very well continue to play at a high level. I think Saffold will continue to play at a high level. He almost seems like he's getting better with age. Whitworth too. He's been playing out of his mind. But are these guys going to start declining anytime soon? It's just I have them at 11. So obviously I think they're going to be good, but maybe not as good as they were last year. The Chicago Bears are at 10. Kind of a team that on paper before last year, you didn't really think they were this good, but they're pretty good. I mean, we're talking about units here. That's a unit. Guys that again really don't look that good on paper, but they just play extremely well. I mean, now it looks good on paper because they played well. It was kind of just Kyle Long was the only known guy. Leno Jr. playing at a high level. I love the draft pick of James Daniels. Cody Whitehair is a guy that can play guard or center just like James Daniels. He's playing at a high level. Bobby Macy. So it's a really balanced unit, and I mean, in terms of units, that's what we're looking for. So they make the top 10. Number 9 is going to be the New England Patriots. Did lose Nate Solder, but I'm still pretty confident with them. They're very good at developing offensive linemen, coaching offensive linemen. I'm a big Marcus Cannon fan. He's a beast. Isaiah Wynn, I think, is a pro-ready rookie in terms of offensive line. So I like the offensive line. Not worried that they can develop them at all. I think they'll be able to develop them easy. And they got a veteran like Marcus Cannon in there, and that helps. So I'm not worried about the Patriots. They come in at number 9. So now we're going to see the top 8. You won't see number 1 quite yet, but it'll be pretty. If you know your football, you know your teams, you're going to know who's number 1. So really no point to leave a blank there, I guess, for our viewers. But number 8 is going to be the Falcons. Pretty solid offensive line last year. Maybe played another team that played better than 8. I think really they got a good offensive line. I don't know about right guard though. Brandon Fusco, I think he had to step up and be their right guard. Other than that, looks very, very good. So I like the Falcons a lot. Number 7 is the Redskins, a team that didn't play anywhere near 7 last year, but I got them up at 7. And now why is that? It's because, well, if you're a Redskins fan, you probably know you guys were pretty beat up last year. I think Trent Williams. There's 2 left tackles that pop in my head that I can argue are the best in the game. Really offensive lineman, because left tackle is the most important position on the offensive line, maybe one of the most important positions in football. When Trent Williams is healthy, he may be the best in football. So, and then we had other injuries across the O-line last year too. Just very unfortunate. They'll be back one game, out next game. So if everyone's healthy, I really like this offensive line. I like Morgan Moses a lot on the right tackle spot. Brandon Scherf at the right guard spot. It's a very good offensive line, I think, if healthy. Trent Williams, I'm a huge fan of his game. Very good, maybe the best in all of football. So the Redskins come up at 7. If they stay healthy, we could be talking about them as maybe one of the better offensive lines in football. Number 6 to me, the Packers. The Packers maybe over the last few years lost some guys due to injury or due to free agency, lost a few guys. But there's no doubt that they'll be back up here. No doubt in my mind. Very good scheme, very good coaching over there. Just perfectly fits their offense for their quarterback, their style of quarterback, who's Aaron Rodgers, obviously. They do a very good job of containing. When you see Aaron Rodgers roll out and have so much success rolling out, I mean, number 1 is because he's a hell of a quarterback, especially rolling out on the run. But that offensive line is built perfect to contain. And no matter who they got in there, I'm just like the Patriots, but I'm even more confident with the Packers that they'll be able to develop them and coach them so they'll be ready. So very impressive staff over there, honestly. But Brian Bulaga, obviously, you want him to stay healthy. He's had a really an unfortunate career with injuries, but very good talent. Bakhtiari, arguably the best offensive lineman in football. So other than that, you got guys that by their names you're a little iffy on it, but I'm pretty confident about it. So maybe not, besides the 2 guys I named, maybe not in paper anywhere near some of these other teams, but I'm pretty confident about them. Number 5 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of veterans on an offensive line, and it's just an offensive line that will be good. You're not going to guarantee they'll be the best, but there's no way they're going to struggle. A lot of veterans. It's a unit. That's just the definition of a unit. These teams in the top here. So again, I really like their line. If I had to say their best offensive lineman was, I like David DeCastro's probably over other best linemen, but tackle's more important. So Marcus Gilbert on the right, Villanueva on the left, very impressive, just all the way around. But we're on to number 4, Tennessee Titans, another very good unit. Obviously, I think pretty young too, so they can even get better. Very impressive. Taylor Lewan is a beast of a left tackle as well. And then I think the guards are pretty underrated. I think when you look at the Titans, you just think Taylor Lewan, Jack Conklin, very good young tackle. So you don't really talk about the guards that much. But the guards play at a very high level last year between Spain and Klein. So pretty impressive unit. Impressive team for the Titans there. Number 3 is the Saints. And honestly, last year, I didn't think the Saints were going to be that great offensive line. They're very impressive. Very, very impressive. I thought they would struggle a little bit. Armstead being a veteran, didn't really know what you're going to get from him. He's going to be pretty solid. Andrews Pete, I thought he could struggle here. And young guys, could always struggle. Very good season. Good run blocker. Larry Warford, very impressive. Ryan Ramczyk, late first-round rookie, didn't struggle really at all right away. And they got Max Unger at center. I like that offensive line. I honestly, going into last year, I didn't really like it all that much. I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it'd be anywhere near as good as it was. I think toward the second half of the season, they had the least amount of sacks given up. Hopefully, I'm correct on that. But they come in at number 3. Number 2 is the Eagles. Big reason why they won the Super Bowl, really. I mean, you could say that about any position group for them. They were very balanced all the way around, but very impressive offensive line. Probably was the best one of last year. Maybe that has a lot to do with them actually winning the Super Bowl, but really all the way around. They're going to get Jason Peters back, too, so that can help them even more. Brandon Brooks is a hell of a guard. Kelsey in at center, and Lane Johnson, right tackle. Very impressive, obviously, the underdog there. Well, they're all underdogs, really, but not anymore, they're not. But number 1, pretty obvious, it's the Cowboys. It's my number 1 offensive line unit. I think just together, when they're all together, they're all playing together. It's just, we saw what they did 2 years ago, what that offense did, that team did. They go to the playoffs. They're one of the best in football. And last year, you had Tyron Smith out here and there, and they struggled big time. But when they're together, it's not just him, though. Obviously, he's maybe the best. That's the other guy I was talking about. I would consider Trent Williams and Tyron Smith, I think, the best 2 offensive linemen. Talking about left tackles being the most important position on the offensive line. I would consider those 2 the top guys. We saw what happened when Tyron Smith was out. But when they're all together, they're all playing at their best. And in my opinion, I don't know if you can pick and choose different offensive linemen from different teams for an all-pro team or something. I think as a unit working together, because there's so many different schemes today for offensive lines on teams. I think a whole unit needs to be recognized. And if healthy, I think the Cowboys are the best ones. We saw Dak, how much better he played when everyone was healthy 2 years ago. And Zeke, even, I know he missed a lot of games last year, but in my opinion, from what I saw, he was better 2 years ago than he was last year. So you need this offensive line together. If they're all there, all playing at their best level, all healthy, maybe that's the Cowboys' ticket back into the playoffs. It's certainly possible. The NFC is absolute stacked, though. So teams like the Cowboys, very hard to tell. Very hard to tell if they'll make the playoffs or not, because there's so many good NFC teams, and you don't know which Dak you're going to get. And you're going to get a pretty solid Zeke, but I think if this offensive lineman, again, if it's playing at their best and healthy, I think that maybe is the most important piece to lead them back to the playoffs. So we'll see. And then you guys voted on our Twitter for the best offensive line unit in football for this season. And the Eagles were a close second, but you guys also voted for the Dallas Cowboys. So looks like we agreed there. Pretty good. Feels pretty good to agree with everyone. Don't have to get no. I'll probably still. You guys will probably still let me have it in the comments. That's okay though. That's okay. But that'll do it for this one. Stay tuned for more NFL and sports content coming to the channel. A lot on the channel already, too. So if you haven't checked those out, please do so. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that as well to help us reach our 10K subscriber goal. But that'll do it. Thanks for everyone's support. Thanks for watching another Frogs Angels video. That'll do it. Goodbye.